Aloha, everybody. Thank you so much for being here at Service Learning Day. Totally different than before. You guys have been to the event in the past. I think I know all of you, but if I don't, my name is Candice Kakuda, and I'm really thankful that all of you are here, each and every one of you. This game is just a chance for us to thank all of you for your contributions in making service learning work. And all of you have different perspectives as individuals as well as stakeholders. Because in order for service learning to work, we have faculty, we have community partners, we have individuals in the community, and of course we have students doing service. And all of that needs to work out, and the stars always have to align for things to go well. And so today what we're just going to be doing is like enjoying each other's company, having lunch, and then sharing reflections and this year's theme is impact. So each of you representing your groups will be talking briefly about your perspective on impact of service learning from your past experiences. So first I want to invite Brother Ed Brink to say a prayer to bless our group for today.
So in my book, it's already blessed. We're just mortalizing. So let's bow our heads. Gracious God, provider of all good things, we ask your blessing on our gathering today. May the things we hear penetrate our minds and hearts. May the things we hear today shape our teaching, our learning, the services we provide, and the way we provide those services. May our efforts, guided by you, make our world more peaceful and just. And bless this food we are eating and all those who had any part in bringing it to our table. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Brother. So I stupidly thought that we were starting at 11:30 and that people would start talking at 11:30, which is really just, it's my first time doing it this way, you know. So we're gonna roll. I know I told all of you guys that you have up to 5 minutes to talk, but if you choose a representative for each of your perspectives and your projects, then we should be able to make it. So we're gonna start over here with Project Shine. When you see your sign come up, just raise your hand and we'll pass the mic over to you.
Sure. Okay.
No start yet. Okay.
Well, welcome. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Project Shine, which has been ongoing since 1996 here at this campus. And prior to that, it was known as the Honolulu Chinatown Citizenship Project, if I remember correctly. And we were operating maybe 2 or 3 years, and it's really coming out of the studies program. But since that person, the head person there, with the HCCP program, was also a former proc here in criminal justice, and so he and I had served on several projects before that. In any case, to keep this short, I have two hats that I wear with respect to Shine. I am the president of a community organization that sponsors Shine, which really means that we try to work with campus very closely and pay some of the bills. Okay. And also on campus, I guess I'm the focus of Shine in terms of sending some students. I don't have that many, but some students as tutors. And I've been doing that since 1996. We have a student who is participating in Shine right now. Nicole?
Hi, my name is Nicole. I started with Shine last semester as a tutor, and it impacted me enough that I came back this semester as a coordinator with Shine. So the impacts that I had when I first got there, I was terrified how I'm going to do this. I don't speak Chinese, but that's what we're doing is teaching English, tutoring, speaking, and trying to come in and get their naturalization exam and pass it. This semester, I've had a bigger impact because not only am I still helping out as a tutor, but I'm also a coordinator, so I'm helping other new tutors learn that they can come in with very limited skills and make an impact on other people's lives just by being there for them and encouraging them. And then I'm able to connect it right back to Dr. Mann's class. I'm in his Asian American Community Study. And in our breaks at Shine, my lady that I teach, she and I become really good friends. So it's building lasting friendships as well. But we are able to communicate this helping her with her English, and she's giving me insights to what it's like in China. So it kind of ties everything all back to
Hi, my name is Whitney. I'm with the Global Chaminade Center, and this is my we're located right behind the park in Pololo. We love Ahe Street, where the affordable housing that's in the back. There's a public housing that's in the front. Our community is predominantly Polynesian, Vietnamese, and Mexican. And in our learning center, we service those demographics of children and also adults. But our main program that is associated with Chaminade is our after-school program, in which students from Chaminade and the other universities come to help tutor and also do engaging and enrichment programs with them, activities. And so, impacts-wise, the thing that we see with our kids a lot is just the role models that service learning students play for them. They get to see people who look like them. They get to see people who don't look like them, but who are pursuing their dreams and also going into higher education, because one of the things that we're trying to influence all of the children to look into. It might not be their strong point, but with service learning students who are providing a positive role model, it becomes easier for us to say, look, like they're doing it, you guys can do it too. And also impacts on the service learning students. They love being upstairs. Our kids only want to give love to everybody. They're so interested in everyone's lives, and they love to talk story with you. They might be kind of caring and young and like go all over the place, but all of our service learning students have expressed to us that they really enjoy engaging with our kids and seeing what stereotypes they might have had coming into our community, being a lower socioeconomic development area in Global, and then coming from that with different perspectives. So I don't know if that's what you want. Thank you.
Okay, I'm with IREC, And I started this, years ago when my oldest son, Ethan, has Down syndrome, and his two younger brothers and sisters went to college. And I thought, who's even going to hang around with them? Because I long noticed when he hung around with his brothers and sisters and their friends, they really shaped his action. And they could tell him, Ethan, that's not cool, and he'd never do it again. Whereas I could speak myself blue telling him that. So anyhow, when they went off to college, I realized we had a wonderful pool of young people here. And so I started IREC, Inclusive Recreation. And it's a service, it started out as solely a service learning program. And I can address that from the viewpoint of a parent and from a teacher's viewpoint. But I think I can best let you know what impact it has by letting the student tell you. So this is Shay, who's participated with us now for several years.
So my name is Shay. I've been helping with IREC or Hana Club for 4 years. I started my very first semester. When I first started, I was really nervous and started to kind of get into the community and work with them. But once I got to know them and build the relationship with all the different participants and Ethan and learn how they are and what their personalities are like, I really grew a bond of going all the time. And I was excited every Friday when we would have our events, all sorts of different activities and programs that we provide for them. I haven't really used this service learning in my classes. I kind of just go to go. So I haven't thought too much about my classes and connecting that, but it's definitely helped me take different perspectives and all the different people that I meet and where they come from, what they're like, being able to understand.
Thank you, Sean. And from a parent's point of view, I can see that it's really wonderful. We now have social workers that are referring kids from the schools that have disabilities because it's a way for them to become socialized and learn how to talk and learn how to get together with other people. So I really am pleased with that. As a professor, I can see the learning that takes place when the students participate. It's not easy for all the students, as Shay was indicating, to come and deal with our young people. But as in so doing, they not only learn themselves, but they do a great favor to the parents who now have children that can better socialize to function in society and to the children themselves. So thank you very much. Oh, I should notice, now that I've retired, IREC is not only a service learning opportunity, we have a student club, Ohana, who coordinates and participates in service learning and IREC activities as part of their club activities. So I encourage the professors to think about signing this service learning for their classes, because there's so many ways the students can. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Chong Wasal. I'm a faculty in Environmental and Interior Design program here at Chaminade. So I had my students doing this Montessori school project, redesign of the school, for my 321 programming and space planning class. This was my first time actually engaging in the service learning project, and it was a really positive experience, having students to meet with a real client in the real site with the real problems. So it was more in situation context, and then they learned a lot in terms of people's needs and wants and what is most essential for the interior space and how that's going to impact the kids at the school. So my students here will share some insights of working on the project.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm one of the students for Environmental and Interior Design. So my thought about this service learning project was that it's really unique and cool because we actually got to experience the real setting of a client and meeting them and trying to service to their needs and wants. I found it very crucial because our site was dominantly used by the kids itself, but they also had the support of Chaminade students as well, as they are using it for research development for early childhood education. So we had to focus students developing the needs and wants of improving their conditions to support their education and for the students of Chaminade as well. So I found that very cool, as it's not only dominantly used for one type of occupant, but you can see that the environment surroundings have an influence in the space as well.
Good afternoon, my name is Samantha. I'm also part of the interior design program here at Chaminade. I think the biggest impact that this project of redesigning the Montessori school had on me was to really be able to go in and see how the space is being used currently by the students and learn a little bit more about their Montessori style of teaching and learning for the student, and also how, as designers, we can impact their learning and their experience in the space and outdoors. So a lot of our focus is really integrating the exterior into the interior and making it accessible for the students. And I think that was another big impact, is just seeing how much focus there is to connecting to the land here in Hawaii. And so it was really nice to be able to do that in our designs for the student. And I'm hoping through our project that it'll have an impact on the students as well and their ability to learn and connect with the future. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Henrietta Clarence from Cololo Elementary School. I have been working with Chaminade University for over 15 years, going way back with Sue Wissenkamp. I want to say thank you to Chaminade for all the students that I have. They come to our school after school and tutor our students. I have an after-school program for grades 3 to 5. I've been doing it for over 15 years, and most of my students come from Chaminade, even though I do work with the other colleges. I have returnees who have been with me, students from Chaminade since 2015, helping our students. What they do is they help our students with homework and reading. Every student has to read at least 20 to 30 minutes. And Chaminade students have been very helpful, very grateful. I'm very grateful for the tutors that I do receive. Every day, our students always come in and say, "Where's my tutor?" And sometimes the tutors have a different day, but our students look forward to every tutor that they get. And the tutors here at Chaminade, Candace has been fantastic. Without her help, I wouldn't be able to tutor 50 kids by myself. I would lose it, to be honest. But I have to say, even though our students come from the housing, they're very good kids. All they need is someone to care about them. And that is what the students from Chaminade provide for our students, is caring. And as long as our students know that, they will always, no matter how much I scold them, they'll be coming to tutoring the next day looking for their tutors. But thank you, Chaminade. Thank you, Candace, for all your help. I have been very blessed and very grateful. Thank you.
Hello, Michael. I'm David Chang. I'm the student coordinator for the Model Mina program. I've worked with Mina for the last 6 years. Actually, kind of an interesting story. I played multiple roles. I started off as a student working for the program, and then eventually became a student leader, and now I help lead the program now. So through all of that, I can kind of explain, I guess, the different impacts it had on me at different stages. So for me as a student and being a Hawaiian Studies student, this program is based on teaching and helping everyone learn, as a leader and as a student, learn about Hawaiian culture, the environment that we live in, as well as connecting us to the community through community and civic engagement, and allowing those relationships to really grow. And so as a student, I found it really, really helpful. As a Hawaiian studies student at KCC, we didn't really get out much in the field. And so this program takes us out, we take our students out to many different sites around Oahu, and we teach them about the Hawaiian culture, but also connecting it back to what they're learning in the classroom. So in essence, we're bridging the gap between the university and the community. But we're always happy to work with Chaminade and many other organizations as well too, even though being based at UH. So that's kind of just, I guess, from the leadership perspective, but I would love to give one of our students a chance to explain her Mana'o perspective on it and how they impacted her. So I'll let her.
Hello, everyone. My name is Poppy Bradford, and I just want to share with you a brief reflection of my time with Nina. At Chaminade, service is one of the first Marianist values emphasized to students their first week of school. In my Nursing 190 class, my peers and I chose organizations to serve 10 hours at our local communities. However, I wish it was way more than 10 hours now. This assignment was meant to be done outside of school to help my peers and me bridge our classroom to the real world. Someday, when I am working as a nurse, I will be serving the real world in a hospital setting in Hawaii. To learn more about the island I now call home, I chose to participate in the University of Hawaii's College of Social Sciences program called MINA, or Malama Ina Ahupua'a, which in Hawaiian means to take care of the land divisions, for several reasons. Ahupua'a were systematically constructed from the mountains to the ocean, which in turn gave the Hawaiian people all that they needed to sustain life for many generations. MINA strives to restore sustainable living in the Hawaiian Islands through countless actions, such as asking us to bring reusable Tupperware and cutlery to MINA events to reduce our carbon footprint. Sustainability is something that I also value due to the influence of my job, whose mission is to make the earth happy and make people happy, through actions such as being locally sourced and getting a small percentage of our garbage converted into energy on Oahu. I gained much more from Nina than I ever expected, including extensive information about traditional Hawaiian agriculture and ritual practices, as well as rich history of the land divisions, which also acted as political systems. Participating in Nina and being of mixed Polynesian heritage myself allowed me to draw many parallels between Hawaiian cultural values and issues we face today with many other Pacific islands. These islands have been losing resources at fast rates due to mismanagement of them, large-scale projects that harm the environment for economic gain, and pure lack of knowledge. With the help of organizations like NINA who are spreading awareness, my hope is that the islands of the Pacific will stand together in relearning the traditional practices of agriculture and culture to help reclaim their identity. NINA gave me the opportunity to visit several sacred sites across the island to learn about what they once were and lend a small hand in restoring their beauty and function. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Pamela Carr. I am the actual Nurse 190 faculty. My impact with service learning was quite big actually, because I had 90 freshman students that had to experience service learning for the very first time here at Chaminade. So with that, it was interesting because it was something I had never done at all, and so navigating with Candace was a big job, but in the end, being able to read 90 reflection papers and seeing their experiences come back was humbling, because at first it was like, we have to do what? We have to go where? And then having the experiences of them saying, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make sure that I continue going. And that was probably, I wanna say about almost all of them wanted to continue what they did. So even though it was a requirement for the course, it was no longer a requirement. It was a need. So they continued to want to do this. And I think that even though it's within this program, it's embedded into them now. And so I think it's something that is that's the impact that I got out of it, was so major through us, is that, like, I was impacted through my students. So even though I didn't get to go, even though I wanted to go to every single site, because I was seeing it, and I was seeing it through the student eyes, I was impacted just by my students, Lauren and Poppy. So thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Evan. A long time ago, I'm practice chief administrator for the School of Racing. So the School of Racing have a scaffolded model of integration. So as you heard Poppy and Professor Carr talk about the freshman level, at the sophomore level, I think we have representation at the CF hospital. Also, we'll probably talk about it later on. And then in the junior level, in their biology classes, they do service learning to in their genetics and genomics class and in their nutrition class. And in the senior year, which we have 6 representation here, and the faculty are also here, and our partners also experience service learning. So as you can see, it's all scaffolded within all of their programming throughout the year. The intent is that they start with very basic understanding of what it means to be a future nurse, to be a health educator, a self-awareness of really what's happening into the community, and hopefully to their sophomore year, where they have a better appreciation of working with the elderly in the community, and then beginning to apply what it means as they start their nursing clinical portion of their education, and then a little bit more in your junior year. And really in the senior year, it's the understanding of sort of the, what does it mean now that you soon to be a nurse, and then understanding how to create policies, which I know our students will share that with all of you. So I think it's a win-win for not just for the program, but also for our students. And for a faculty who used to also teach in those courses and has service learning, I could never emphasize the value of having that experience at maybe in Palolo, teaching somebody whose English is a second language, to going to their project in their senior year and really making an impact, and then thinking back of what they have done as a freshman level. And then as a senior, it's like, so that's what it means to do service. And there's all smiling at me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Denise Cooper, and I'm nursing faculty. And in nursing, 403 nursing leadership, on the senior level is a little bit different from what Pamela experienced as freshman. So this is my first time on the leadership level having a service learning course. So my perspective was a little different, that they were seniors. They were learning management and change and learning how to be transformational leaders. So we came up, and this course has always, in a 15-week course, been a separate service learning course working with the Hawaii Center for Nursing. So this summer, in speaking with Laura and with Candace, we looked at topics, and the topic that we chose was the opiate crisis. So one of the things that also happened this year was that we also have new faculty in the EVP projects with senior level and their capstone project. So Nursing 403 is a 15-week course, but the seniors are changing their clinical courses every 7 weeks. So they have 7 weeks in mental health, they have 7 weeks in public health, and then they have 7 weeks in acute med surg, and they rotate. So my students were in one of those 3. So what I thought would be great was, I also wanted the students to realize that these courses are not siloed courses. This curriculum over 4 years has been purposeful and integrated. So I worked with Sharon in her EVP course, and I said, let's meld them together. Let's use these 10 hours of service learning and leadership as their step up or step off to their EVP project, which is a culmination in this semester. But what happens is the students are in groups, but they're all over the islands doing their immersion. So I said, let's break down the barriers. Let's allow the students to have more time to research and work and actively help make change.
I'll let the students talk from their perspective, but this was the first time I think the students were yanked out of their comfort zones. I guided them and gave them plenty of resources, but I did not hold their hand. They had to go within their clinical facilities and look at, once they had read the Opiate Crisis Initiative from the state of Hawaii, the impact it had within their clinical facilities, and to come up with their EVP people project. And then they had to do they could begin their service learning. So they were scattered all over the place. So from my perspective, from the faculty, first it was eye-opening to me that some of our students who even live here did not even know there was an opiate crisis. So my answer to them was, I realize we live on a rock in the middle of the ocean, but we are not under it. You listen to the radio, you see the news, how could you not know this? To the fact of, we knew there was an issue, but it's over there. It's not affecting us here. And I think they realize that's different now. And thirdly, how can we as nursing students impact this? So I'm gonna let they'll tell you these stories. They're very moving. So, Lauren, you want to speak?
Thank you all for inviting us to this event. It's really wonderful hearing all the other students and faculty's organizations' perspectives. The Center for Nursing was established by the legislature in 2003, and we aim to ensure that we have a nursing workforce that is well prepared and able to care for the population in Hawaii, and also is continually growing and developing, is moving with the times. And right now we're in a rapid shift, particularly with our understanding of pain and with opioids and with dependency. And having been a recent graduate myself, I learned how difficult it can be to transition from being a student where there's some sheltering to becoming a professional and having to grapple with these issues themselves. So the service learning project really is a timely, and particularly with the seniors, it's a timely course because it allows students to think about really difficult issues and imagine how they will tackle these issues for the rest of their careers. And in nursing, we really do have a strong call to action to ensure that the wellness and the safety and healthcare is appropriate and highly, is of high quality immediately, but also in the future. And opioid and dependency is such a big issue. So the opportunity and the willingness for the students to take on such a heavy issue as student learners and address the many facets that come along with prescription medication and drug use and misuse and dependency and stereotypes is really a testament to what quality students these individuals are. So I just want to commend you all for being willing to do this with us and see your roles in improving the healthcare in Hawaii, because it is very important.
Hi, my name is Lori Brickmeyer, and I'm at the PAC clinic. So a problem that we wanted to first figure out is every time we're at a hospital or go to the ER, they never really ask us, are you using, are you doing any of that? So we kind of wanted to see, are they asking individuals who are pregnant, are they using? Because we saw an increase of newborns being born addicted to drugs. So we wanted to take it through a perspective of the women who are actually addicted. So through the PATH clinic, we work with women who are addicted or who are used to be addicted, as well as Women's Way, which is right across the way with Salvation Army. So both work together by, Women's Way is a different way of looking at it. So these women are trying to recover, they're past their addiction or they're still in that phase. So it's just an environment where everyone can kind of go off of each other and know that there's a struggle. And instead of just dismissing them, they are working on it together. And then PATH is just strictly behavioral health, OBGYN, and they're trying to aid these women in the process of not necessarily being done with doing whatever they're doing, but helping them and understanding that we're human. We're addicted to something, or we have a problem, but it's not bad. So that's what we wanted to implement into hospital, which of course we don't have the time to, but we wanted to see what the stigma was in hospital. Why are these women going to PAC? Because they feel safe. It's in a home environment. They are not judged, and they know that they have a problem, but of course they aren't being looked bad upon. So that's what we wanted to do, and we're doing it well.
Hello, I'm Jalen. So we're trans legacy, and just our project has evolved a lot since the beginning of last semester when we first started in leadership. So in the beginning, we started with the patient education about opioid dependency amongst the residents in the state of Hawaii that pharmacy setting reduced the number of opioid use. And as we worked with the pharmacy, so we work at Times Pharmacies, everyone knows Times Pharmacy, yeah. So they're all over the island, and they're one pharmacy in Maui. So I'm working with my manager. I work at Times Pharmacy as a technician, and working there has opened my eyes to how serious the opioid epidemic is. Even though we don't have people dying on the streets like the mainland people do, we do have people who are taking very high quantity and dosages of opioids. Okay. So far, from the last time we checked in class, we had we decided to do research on the addiction dependency on polypharmacy. So that's when patients go from pharmacy to fill their prescription. Opioid risk and side effects, best practice, and alternatives of pain management. And what we discovered was, yes, people do hop from pharmacy to pharmacy and even doctor to doctor, which is no longer allowed. You're only allowed to go to one doctor for your opioids. It's in the law. And we've also collaborated with an individual pharmacist who works at Times Waimalu, who has a pharmacy student who wants to do a project with us, and we're going to make a poster and a handout about how to get naloxone. Now, naloxone cancels out the opioid effects in the body. So we have police officers in the mainland, I'm pretty sure police officers in Hawaii that carry around naloxone in case they come across someone who is overdosed. And the problem with opioids is it decreases your respiration, right? So then you die that way. In other ways, but it's too much information. But so we're going to go over naloxone and how to get it. So in the pharmacy, you have people coming and dropping off prescription and picking up medication, right? So naloxone, you're not going to give to the person who picks up the opioids because they're not going to think they have a problem. You're going to give it to their family member or someone who's around them often. So in Chicago, they have librarians who carry on naloxone because a lot of times the people who are addicted are outside the library having overdoses. So the librarians go out and administer naloxone and save their lives. So if a family member thinks maybe my dad or my brother might be taking some heavy naloxone, then I can ask the doctor for a prescription so I can carry naloxone. So we're working with the pharmacy intern, and our new subjects of research for the second semester are signs and symptoms of opioid overdose, risk factors for opioid overdose, and dependency. So risk factors for opioid overdose and becoming addicted is a little different. If you have a history of previous substance abuse, then you have an increased chance of becoming addicted to opioids. Also, if you also take benzodiazepines, and how can they get Narcan? And Narcan dosages, so like different. And what is Narcan? So, as nurses and people in the doctor. Okay, so in the healthcare, you know what Narcan does, but other people who are picking up their prescriptions, they don't know. So it's important to explain to them what it is and how to use it. And insurance.
So medication's not free, so it's important to incorporate how their insurance can cover it, because no one's gonna buy a $500 little nasal spray to save their life, right, unless they have that kind of money, which a lot of people in Hawaii don't. So it's important to take that into consideration. So we've made a couple of posters, and we've worked with them for a long time. They really like us. We're waiting to make a questionnaire to ask the public what they know about opioids and if their doctor has gone with the mandatory consent form. And apparently we're going faster than the state project has, because my boss said they haven't come up with a questionnaire, so we're gonna make one on our own, because we can't wait for them, we're gonna graduate in May. So that's what we got.
Hi, my name is Ruth Sivak, and my site was Tripler Army Medical Center Project. And we actually had a Google question of the effectiveness of opioid medication versus non-opioid medication with the population of the military veterans. And I have so much research and so many things to share with you, but in the sake of time, I would ask you to come and speak with me directly. But I mean, I could take an hour. We found so much research, and it was very fun. We had the opportunity to actually go to the Hawaii Army National Guard clinics, and we talked with the providers, and we offered them our best, most relevant research. And I think the thing is, as a student, you do so much research, and you're reading, and you're finding so many relevant things. So we narrowed it all down, went and talked with providers. And for me, I think the thing that was the most impactful is that the information that we were providing with them, they were actually saying, yes, we've heard of that and we're doing that, and those things do work. So that was awesome, because it was a confirmation to us that all the information that we were finding was actually relevant and current, which is really important.
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to say. My colleague Susan started something called Hawaii VITA, Hawaii Tax Help. It's an offshoot from the IRS VITA program, which has been going on since 1967. It helps people do taxes, and what it does is for people who make less than $55,000 a year, we'll do your taxes for you. So there are a lot of places where people will be able to do your taxes, including here at Chaminade, on Henry Hall, Route 124. If you need help with your taxes, because Trump changed all the tax laws, then contact Hawaii Tax Help. That's hawaiitaxhelp.org. So just go online, type in hawaiitaxhelp.org, and there will be an appointment calendar that comes up. You can touch with somebody, and they will make you a 1-hour appointment to work with the trained volunteer tax preparer certified by the IRS, including a lot of our students. That'll help you do your taxes. Each year we help about 8,000 people do their taxes. Each year we get about $10 million in otherwise unpaid refunds back into the state. So it's a pretty good service. We do everything for free, and everybody's trained, and everybody knows that if they don't do it, then the best one does. One other quick pitch. I do another class, and we do not-for-profit consultation. So this semester, right now, we're doing a project for mental health book. There's a place called Stepping Stones Cafe in Maui. We have just acquired that as an organization. The organization helps those who are mentally ill, substance abusers who are homeless. We have programs and treatment facilities as well as housing on every island. One of the few people that does that. So anyway, my business capsule class is doing the business plan right now for that coffee shop, utilizing recovery in substance abusers, also people with mental illness, people who have other disabilities, and they're using the coffee shop as a training facility to help them get back on their feet. So if you have a project like that, just let us know, we can help you out.
Just to let everybody know, the Opportunities Fair is starting right now on the balcony. And I know some of you guys have tables, and what we can try to do is have some of our volunteers watch your stuff and help mend your table, or you can go outside and mend your table yourself. It's totally up to you. The other thing I want to remind everybody is a lot of you guys are going to be outside at the fair, so we can learn a lot more about our partners and impacts out there. So if you can just share the highlights, hopefully we can jam through this and still be able to
to do both.
I'll be very quick. My service learning project is conducted over my sophomore class, and what we like to do is go out into the lily patches on the island of Oahu and cultivate taro. And my students, the way that I want them to take away and impact their learning is through the understanding of how that particular staple can be utilized to generate profits for a business and how all of the different parts of money go. So that's all I'm going to say.
Hello, my name is Kira Mayana, and I'm the PCMC, which is the Parent Community Networking Coordinator at Jarrett Middle School. We are very grateful to be able to have students from Chaminade service learning programs benefit and mentor our kids. So we have an opportunity for students to come and tutor. We recently started a program called Study Spaces, and instead of having after-school detention, it's not detention or punitive in any way. We're offering spaces that make it cool to study. And so we've been able to employ some of the students to come be part of that. But it's been really great. We have them sometimes in class to help teachers and give them an opportunity to work with students and fulfill their service learning outcomes. So thank you for having us.
Hello, my name is Rick Carlson. I teach in the English department here at Chaminade. For the last 6 years, I've been working with kids, Kuda and Marianne Chaminade and Lisa Shimanaka at Kamuki High School, where my English 102 students do service learning projects as mentors, both in the fall and the spring semesters. And so what that involves is time in the classroom, in a high school classroom, English classrooms, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, and they're working there to help those students. This is in large part an attempt to share with those students a path to college and to let our students work through what you oftentimes share with the soft skills, but those are really social skills about leadership and keeping one's word and being able to be a human and talk to someone else and offer them help and be of service. Those are the characteristics and skills that we can practice and cultivate. And so that in large part is what my students are doing right down the street from us at high school. There are two kind of cool projects that come out of that too. There is a poetry festival that happens in the fall, in November here. We do that in that beautiful space in the library. And then we also are participating in a Shakespeare festival that happens in April on the Kamuki High School campus. So we're jumping both sides there. It's great to hear all these projects and all this good stuff that's happening around here in the community.
Sorry. Okay, Caregiver Shares was started in fall of 2014 to offer students an opportunity to do service learning on their own hours. So they learn how to crochet and then they do something for the New Parent Support Program. So Lisa Brown was going to happen with what they do.
New Parent Support Program here with the Army and well, can you hear me? So I'm with New Parent Support Program, out of school people that Army Community Services, service primarily active duty Army and their families. And so the age range, we focus on 0 to 3 up until the 4, and you're eligible for a program if you're expectant. And so one of the things we do is upon delivery of the baby, we give them these blankets, and a lot of them are away from their family, the friends, and the grandmother that might have naturally made something like that for them. And it's something tangible that shows that even though they didn't meet the students, they really appreciate them and show that someone out there do care for them because they're a little isolated on our island, they don't have any friends, and it's just a small token that has a big impact for them. So thank you so much for keep doing it.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Kathy Solitario, and I live in a Native Hawaiian community, which houses 432 homes. And our mission, the name of our company is Kulanono Po'e Hawaii, and our mission is to educate our community basically on health. And we do diabetes classes. We also do hypertension and hula. And I'm so grateful to the Service Learning Project because the students come up to help us do genetic presentations and nutrition classes. We just have a whole lot of things going on in Papakolea. This past Saturday, we had a huge health fair sponsored by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And it was so nice to see all the students, 40 of them in the morning, coming out to help us we have about 500 participants this past Saturday with music and health assessments in the library. So the students were able to get into the clinical scene with some other doctors that were there. So I'm really appreciative to you, Candice, and your folks project. Here's a student that's going to talk a little bit about Papakolea.
Hi, sorry, I'll be quick. So I'm Oscar, I'm one of the sophomore nursing students. Volunteering at Papakolea gave me a newfound appreciation for the elders in Hawaii. Coming from Hawaii, I didn't know much about it, the Hawaiian culture here, surprisingly. But working with Papakolea and seeing the elders being taken care of in the fair, understanding, slowly we're going to be understanding public health and immersion in community health as well. So this gave me an opportunity to see what Papakolea and the Hawaiian community and culture is all about.
Thank you again for being here. I want to invite Dr. Lynn Guy, our president, to say just a couple words.
Thank you. I'm so inspired by hearing about all the good work that our students are engaged in, but equally as important for our community partners who open your arms to help our students learn and have experiences that deepen their own commitment to service in the community. And of course, our faculty and Candice and Service Learning are able to put these whole programs together so that we really are doing learning as part of the service. And the students did a great job describing the impact that these experiences have for their lives. So thank you all for all that you do. And these are great examples of how we at Chaminade are different and unique in our various, the characteristics of various education, our commitment to service, our commitment to giving back to our communities, our commitment to social justice, and an integral education, which is really blending service and academics. So thank you all for all you do, and I look forward to going out and speaking with some of you about the details of your projects. Thank you so
It looks like you got a full studio setup with professional mic and displays.
I'm trying to live stream it on my workplace.
I got the Zoom invitation.
Yeah.
So I went in there and I thought, oh, I just need to come down here. What is this thing for?
Oh, I took that off because I don't get a speaker.
Oh, that's what this is.
Chime in.
I saw Barbara and Ethan are out there.
So I knew that they.
Once they come off, okay. It's
So it has a whole setup. Different media, a huge.
Doing this. You know that thing that we have in the house?
Oh, that's.
The Facebook thing.
It's on delay.
Oh, yeah.
English professor attends service learning day.
There you go. I hope so. Cool. I just missed Brooks' speech. He said he spoke.
The speeches were like 1 minute.
Oh.
It's like some people talk, just 8 people.
Is Richard speaking now? Oh, they're all done? The speeches are done?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jennifer, how did it go yesterday?
Oh, it was really fun. Different.
Did more business people show up?
So I
Because
was
there's supposed to be two others.
I only recognize like one other girl. But I know a couple people that are like in charge of data science and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
It was really interesting. Older alumni came, like graduate, like that.
Whoa.
So there's a contrast from how it was when